What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hidden Heights Farm. We are under attack, and this is not clickbait. I'm going to get to the point here in a minute. So we just had our appraisal this morning, and the last couple days we've been outside kind of mowing, trying to make things look nice and this and that. And I noticed two of our beehives over here, where we had the 4 beehives in our little colony here, or apiary, whatever you want to call it. I noticed 2 of the hives that were kind of the smaller hives. I didn't notice any bees coming in and out, and the other 2 hives were super active. And so as soon as I got off work today, I had some stuff I was going to do outside, but I wanted to come check on the beehives first. So I put my suit on real quick and looked in there, and it was an absolute disaster. I'm just going to tell you guys, we lost 2 of our hives in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. You guys seen the video where I was harvesting the honey, and I checked all the hives just to make sure everybody was doing good while I had all the suit on and I had the smoker going, all that. You know, it's just good practice to check on your bees every once in a while. Well, let me show you what, let me start over. I got a bee flying around my head. Hope it don't sting me. All right, so, bee ain't gonna leave me alone. Hold on a minute. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. But look right here behind me. Sorry if I'm breathing heavy. I just, as soon as I opened up these hives, I got busy. And this is what a couple $100 worth of bee frames look like, or beehive frames, I guess you can say. This bee will not stop. So, yeah, this is those beehives we had. And these are the frames that was in it. So, let's get to the story. As soon as I cracked it open, I noticed that both of the hives, but the first one I cracked open was full of wax moths. And I got one bee here. I got a scent on me or something. It ain't gonna leave me alone. Hopefully it don't sting me. So as soon as I seen that, I knew it was too late. The bees were already dead. And I'll get into what these wax moths do here in a little bit from what I know. But the first thing I did, I just started grabbing those frames and throwing them in this fire pit. And I came over here, sprayed some starter fluid on there, and lit this thing on fire. The main thing I was trying to do is to protect our healthy hives. And guys, when I tell you beekeeping is the hardest thing I've ever done, I am not exaggerating. Beekeeping, keeping and maintaining a healthy hive is not easy at all. And you know, we were very blessed to have the bees make it through the winter. We didn't lose any hives last year. But then you got something called hive beetles. You got wax moths and lesser wax moths. And I think these were just the normal wax moths. And so back to the story. I keep going off topic, I know. Still trying to catch my breath. I'm all sweaty trying to deal with this. And I didn't even have time to grab a camera, because as soon as I cracked the top open on that first hive, there was these worms, and they look like little maggots. And I'll show you guys. There's still a bunch of them right here that didn't get burned. And this is the larva from the wax moth. I mean, they look like little maggots. Look at these. They're just everywhere. And this is the little cocoons that they have their babies in, and they hatch out, and the larva starts eating on the bee frames, and the bee start eating on the honeycomb. They start eating on all the larvae of the bees, any pollen stores, nectar, stuff like that. They just go through there, they spin a little web cocoon like that, and it's just a disaster. And usually only your sicker or weaker beehives will get them. So I knew these hives were a little bit behind, because they never did build out both deep for me, both deep bee boxes. I can't hardly talk. Excuse me, my mouth's super dry. And I knew they were a little weaker, so only one of them had a super on that they were actually starting to put honey in, but the other one, it was still really weak, and I knew that. But I checked it, you know, frequently, and I never seen any hive beetles. I never seen any wax moths. And the last time I just checked it was when we harvested the honey, and it looked perfectly fine. And within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, the wax moths totally wiped out 2 colonies of bees. So then back to the story again. I grabbed the frames, I come over here, throw them in the fire pit, spray some starter fluid on there, and light them up. Because I'm not even kidding, there was thousands and thousands of these little worms the larvae from these wax moths. Tons of moths still in there. I was trying to crush them all and kill them all, throwing them in this fire, getting them all burned up. And the bad thing about this is we lost the bees. So we probably lost $200 or $450 to $500 worth of bees, and then probably another $300 to $400 worth of these frames. These were the better frames that had the wax foundation on them, so the bees were ready to go, building out on them and all this and that, and it is a super loss for us. We just did awesome with the honey this year on the other hives, and then you turn around just a couple weeks later and you have a disaster. And of course, when the chickens are out here following me around all the time, I got all these worms on the ground. They're not out here right now. So let me go grab a drink real quick, and we'll talk about this a little more. So here is one of the little worms left over. These guys are bad, bad, bad. They wipe out beehives. And that's a dead one now. Alright, so I went ahead and got me a drink, and I grabbed a chair, and we're going to talk about this. So, back to what I was saying earlier, bees are so hard to maintain and keep healthy. You know, we bank on having all these hives to try to harvest the honey, to be able to sell, to make a little more income for our farm and this and that. And then you got to fight off natural elements. You got the hive beetles, you got these hornets, you got all kinds of stuff like that. You got spiders get in there every once in a while, and they'll eat a couple of your bees, but the wax moths are probably the #1 problem that we have had. You know, they get mites that wipe them out. You got to treat them for mites. Usually in the fall time when you don't have your honey supers on. I mean, there's just a handful of things, and you're trying to always counter these things, and then from left field all of a sudden comes out and there's another problem. And what really stinks for us is we lost 2 living bee colonies, or 2 hives that had 2 different hives of bees in there. So that's a huge loss for us. We won't be able to replace them until next spring probably. It's a little late in the year to try to start starting to nook a bees over, a new hive. And the cheapest that you can find around here is like 150 bucks or so for a little 4 or 5 frame nuke to get a beehive started. And then all these frames that was in here, we had 4 deep boxes of frames and then 1 super medium box of frames. So that's 40 deep frames and then 10 medium frames. That stuff's super expensive too. So getting into bees is expensive as a startup. And then when you have something like this happen, a lot of people, what they'd probably do, like a lot of professional beekeepers that have, hundreds of hives and stuff, they'd probably take these frames, they'd probably scrape them off or burn them off, and then they'd stick them like in a trash bag and stick them in a big freezer. And 4 or 5 hours in a freezer will actually kill the larvae and the eggs of these moths. But there were just so many, I'm not even kidding, like I could have just grabbed a handful of these little larvas and just had probably buckets and buckets full of this larva. And these 2 hives are right next to our 2 healthy hives, so I did not want to take any chance of any of the moths or any of the larvae trying to make its way up into the new hives, or the good hives. I'm not real familiar with the wax moths because we've only had problems with them here and there, but we've never had one totally take over our hives like they did just now. And the weird thing about this is these 2 hives were right next to each other on the same platform over where we keep them. And like I said yesterday and the day before when I was mowing, I kept looking over there every time I'd pass, because I'll usually hold my breath whenever I mow by the beehives, because sometimes they will give you a little chase or light you up if they catch you. So if I get real close, I'll put my bee suit on and mow around them. But anyways, I noticed that there was no activity at all. I seen like 1 or 2 bees, and just 10 feet from them there was 2 healthy hives, and there was hundreds of bees coming in and out of the entrance. So I knew something was up. So that's why I said, as soon as I get off work today, I'm gonna crack them open. And sure enough, I came out here and I was hoping that maybe they just weren't active or something, and I was gonna start feeding them some sugar water or something like that. But nope, as soon as I cracked it, I seen all the silk looking, spider webs looking stuff, and it was just a nightmare. I mean, gross. I'll try to put some pictures up here and there throughout this video. I probably should have said that earlier, but I'm going to throw some up of the wax moths and the larvae and stuff. I showed you guys what one of the little larva worms looks like. Them things are super nasty. And if I could get these chickens to come over here and eat some of these guys, I'd feel a lot better. I don't like these things crawling around, because as I was carrying these boxes over here to this fire pit to burn them, these worms and larvae are just falling out of there. I mean, it's disgusting, actually. Probably make good fish bait if you're trying to catch some perch or something, but I don't have time to go fishing right now. I got to get busy with the tractor, and that's going to be another video I'm fixing to make. I just wanted to make this little short video to tell you guys about these stinking wax moths and the loss here. You know, we say it over and over. We try to share everything with you guys. You know, if we lose a goat or a pig or something gets sick, we try to share it with you guys. So hopefully, if you guys are new at doing anything that we do, you know, raising some of these animals or beekeeping even, don't get discouraged. We try to show our losses, because that just, you know, hopefully someone or some of you are watching, and you know, you might be dealing with some of the same problems that we do, and whether we come out successful or not, we try to share the results, and that will hopefully let somebody out there that's watching some of our videos know, hey, don't try that, or hey, they tried that and it worked, let's try that. You know, we try to stay positive on there, no drama, no politics, stuff like that. And it's fun making these videos, and it's fun interacting with you guys, but we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And just like the other night, I want to say thank you again. We sold all that honey so fast, and you know, it's a shame now that we're going to start over with these 2 hives. And I've been getting a lot of questions about the beehive over at my parents' house. I need to actually go get it. I think we got them all trapped now in the box, so hopefully one evening this week, while it's still cool here right now in Oklahoma, in northeast Oklahoma anyway. We got a little cold front that's kind of moved in. It's like in the upper 80s, so it's really nice. So one evening this week, or maybe this weekend, I will try to get over to my parents and grab that box, and I might make a little short video about that. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get off here. I got some stuff to do. Sorry I did not film any of that. It was a, you know, it was a disaster, and a lot of people probably didn't want to see it. It's not the most pleasant thing to look at. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna get off here. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment. Like this video. And we'll see you next time. Oh yeah, look who finally starts seeing the larvae on the ground and comes over there. Now he's starting to eat them. I wish these chickens would have ate them things before they got in the beehives. That's some good protein right there. Look who decided to clean up all the little larvae. Chicken, eat every one of them, please. Hopefully that's the last time we get attacked.